Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So for today, I'm going to be going over all of the books that I plan on reading for the month of June. I really need to get my TBR down, so I need to actually start reading books in my physical collection. And a little disclaimer, I have been in a book slump for a couple of weeks now, and it is really bad. I feel like no book has gotten my attention and made me want to keep reading it because my attention span is just really short for some reason this past couple of weeks, and I need to get out of it. So I feel like having these books that I specifically want to read for June will help me get out of it, and I feel like I picked a good selection of books. And if you guys are excited to find out what they are, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I am super close to 1,000 subscribers, so each and every one of you really helps me out, and I appreciate all of your love and support. And without further ado, let's jump right into this video. So every month I average from about 4 to 6 books, so I decided to go in between that and pick out 5 books for the month of June. So the first book that I have right here is You Shouldn't Have Come Here, and this is a thriller slash suspense book, and it focuses on the main character Grace, and she is an overworked New Yorker, and she's just looking for a place to relax and get away from her busy life. So she ends up booking an Airbnb in Wyoming. It is a secluded ranch, and when she gets there, she ends up meeting the owner. His name is Calvin, and they end up getting close to each other because they find one another attractive. But something is still bothering Grace because there is no cell service in the place that she's staying at, and there is a missing woman in the town that she's in. So she just feels uneasy and feels like there's secrets going on, and she wants to figure them out. And Calvin starts becoming really obsessive with her, and things take the wrong turn when she's getting closer to leaving because he feels like she's hiding something from him and he's trying to figure her out. I'm just really excited for this thriller book, and I've heard a lot of good things about this author, so I was really excited to pick this one up from Barnes and Nobles. And I'm just a sucker for thriller books, you know? It keeps me at the edge of my seat, and when I don't find out who or figure out who the bad guy is, those are my favorites because I want to be surprised. So I am excited to see how it goes, and I'm hopeful that it gets me out of my reading slump. So the next book that I have is One Italian Summer, and this is a magical realism type of book. So the main character, Katie, is currently grieving her mother's death, and to make matters worse, they had a mother-daughter trip planned to go to Italy. But unfortunately, with her mother's death, that is now something that she has to do all by herself. So when she gets to Italy, she ends up feeling her mother's spirit and feels like she's really connecting with her mom after death. And when she gets there, she actually ends up seeing her mother alive and a healthy 30-year-old, and she is so confused how this is possible. And over the course of the summer, she ends up forming a relationship with the 30-year-old woman that is her mom, and she is very different from the mom that she knows. And this is just an emotional read, and I've heard a lot of really good things about this book, so I'm excited to see how everything plays out. And another thing that I also like is that it is set in the summertime, just because I really like reading books with whatever season they correlate to. I feel like it just gets me more into the feels. The next book that I will be reading is Misery by Stephen King. So this focuses on the main character, Paul. He is a best-selling author, and his biggest fan is Annie. And when Paul gets into a bad car accident, he ends up needing help, and Annie is actually his nurse, and she is taking care of him. And he is currently staying at her house because she is also his captor, and she won't let him leave, and nobody knows where he's at because they are staying at a secluded place. And throughout this book, Annie basically forces him to write a novel just for her, and she ends up doing all of these crazy things to him. And basically, I am really excited to read this just because I have not read a Stephen King book still. It is crazy because he is one of the staple authors, and I feel like everyone just needs to read a book from him. And I actually picked this up because one of my favorite booktubers, Haley Pham, raved about this book and said it was a really good book. And I'm just excited to see how everything plays out. My next read is People We Meet on Vacation. And this book focuses on the two main characters, Poppy and Alex, and they've been best friends since they were children. And even though they are complete opposites of each other, they still really love each other and they are super close. And for a decade now, they have been taking a 1-week vacation with each other. And up until 2 years ago, when everything basically fell apart and they stopped talking to one another, and Poppy ends up being in a rut, and somebody asked her when was the last time that she was ever truly happy, and she ends up looking back and she realized that the last time she was happy was when she was on vacation with her best friend Alex. So she ends up reaching out to him and basically convincing him to go on another 1-week long vacation to kind of lay everything out on the table and just talk about what went wrong and try to fix the relationship in the span of a week. So I am really excited to see how this story goes. And I have read another book by Emily Henry. It was Beach Read, and I ended up actually liking it. And I know a lot of people just really love her books, so I'm excited for this one. And it is another summary type of book, so I just really like that as well. The last book that I am planning on reading is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. So this is a fantasy book, and the main character is Araya. She is the adopted human daughter of the Nightborn Vampire King, and she wants to prove herself to her vampire house. So she basically ends up joining this tournament where she has to go up against all the other vicious vampires from other vampire houses. So in order for her to survive, she has to form an alliance with one of the deadly competitors, Rain, and she finds him really attractive even though she shouldn't, and he is the biggest threat to her father's throne. But they still end up working together, and I am just excited to dive into this book because I have not read a romantasy book for a minute now, so I just want to be in this type of world again. And I've heard a lot of really good things about Carissa Broadbent's books, and I feel like they always end up being really popular all over Booktok and Booktube, and I'm just excited to see what all the hype is about. And I feel like I'm gonna be eating this up. These are all of the books that I'm going to be planning on reading for the month of June, and try knocking down my physical TBR. So let me know in the comments down below what you're planning on reading this month, and also just give me book recommendations of things that you think I would enjoy, and I would love to see them and check them out. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. All of your love and support helps me out. And that is all for today, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.